Hello guys, this is What About Nintendo. Today I'm here for another E3 prediction video. In this video, I thought I'd go over whether or not I think we could see a new Monolith Soft game at this year's E3 2019. Let's get right on into it. As some of you guys may know, Monolith Soft is one of my favorite studios owned by Nintendo. They're absolutely amazing. Made some of my favorite games of all time, the Xenoblade series, my favorite JRPG series ever. They're an absolutely amazing studio, and it's been a little bit since we've seen a project from them, and some people have begun to speculate that maybe we could see a new Monolith Soft project at E3. In fact, some of you guys on my Discord and Twitter, which you guys should be following me on, links down in the description below, have asked me, hey, do you think we'll see a new Monolith Soft game at E3 2019? So I thought I'd look over all the facts and, decide for myself whether or not I think it will be there. First off, let's look at the timeline here. It's been nearly 2 years since Xenoblade Chronicles 2 launched, or more like a year and a half at this point in time. And the DLC, Torna DLC, just finished up last year, and we're coming up on a year since then. Let's look at how long it's taken between different Xenoblade games. So the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii launched June 10th, 2010. Xenoblade Chronicles X launched 5 years later on April 29th, 2015. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 launched only 2 years after that, more like 1.5 years after that, on December 1st, 2017. And the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC, which was about half the size of a, major Xenoblade game, launched just 1 year, or actually just a few months afterwards, on September 20th, 2018. So we're seeing a lot of ranges here from 5 years to only 1.5 to 2 years. So there's a lot of variables on how long this could take, but let's try to break it down here. So if we think we're getting a Xenoblade Chronicles X2, I think then the development of that would probably take about 3 to 5 years, depending on how much they take from the original Xenoblade Chronicles X, and if they use the original game's engine. But if we're getting a Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I'm thinking development time would take more like 2 to 3 years with the same variables as Xenoblade Chronicles X2. With the size of Torna, I kind of don't think a new game would have been started till the DLC was nearly completed. So I'd say around late spring to early summer 2018 is when they would have started on a new Xenoblade project. If we give the minimum 2 years of development time, then that means a summer 2020 is really the earliest we can expect them to release a new game. So I don't think it's too out of the question for us to think it is possible, maybe not reasonable, but possible that in winter 2020 we could see a new Xenoblade project coming out from Monolith Soft. Especially if they had started at least planning the project a few months before the base Xenoblade Chronicles 2 release, as it's possible they didn't need some of the more creative minds to be solely focused on Torna, as that story was already told in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, just not to the extent of Torna DLC. But that, guys, however, is the minimum time I think could be required for the game. There's a lot of variables here. They could be making a new engine that's better suited for the Switch capabilities, since the Xenoblade Chronicles X engine they used for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a lot of issues with the Switch. I think that's why it's a lower resolution and the frame rate's kind of wobbly for a game that really shouldn't be. I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful game, has a lot of really cool effects, and the character models are nice, the lighting engine's great, but, for what the Switch can do, I feel like it shouldn't run as bad as it does. I feel like it's stuff that's left over from the Wii U engine that's not really that compatible with the Switch engine, so maybe they want to make a new engine for the Switch that's suited better. Or they could be making a Xenoblade Chronicles X2 instead of a Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which would likely take a lot more time as the world there is much bigger. Or they could just be going for a much more expansive Xenoblade Chronicles 3 than we realize, and it's much more ambitious, so it's going to take more time. There's just too many variables to say for sure that they could get a game out by December 2020. However, even with all this talk of a new Xenoblade game, X2 or 3 or whatever, doesn't necessarily have to be the case, because we know that Monolith Soft is working on a new project that's not a Xenoblade game. Back in August 2017, Monolith Soft was hiring a bunch of designers for a brand new project that is more of a medieval style game, and some are even saying has a lot of ties to the Zelda series. Since this game was having a major hiring phase back in August 2017, it is possible that the game is nearing completion or could be ready for next holiday. So maybe that is the game that they would want to show off this E3. So taking all this information into account, what am I predicting is going to happen at E3? I am going to go ahead and actually predict that we will see a new Monolith Soft game at E3, and I'm going to go as far as predict that it won't be a new Xenoblade, but it will be a teaser trailer for the new medieval game that they're working on. Now, there's still a bunch of variables, and I'm not 100% certain that this is going to happen, but, you know, it kind of fits. In a way, I think that there is a distinct possibility that there's a project that they could be definitely ready for. Monolith Soft is a much bigger studio now. They can work on several projects at once. They can freaking make a new Xenoblade game in 1.5 years while having most of their studio work on Breath of the Wild. So if, you know, all that development resource freed from Breath of the Wild to work on a whole new game, I think there's definitely a chance that with that large of a development team, they could have gotten a project ready for next holiday, and they're ready to tease it at this year's E3. Whether that be the medieval game or a new Xenoblade, I definitely am thinking we're going to see a new project from Monolith Soft, and I think it's going to be super hype. As I said, they're my favorite studio from Nintendo, my favorite second-party studio. They're absolutely incredible, and if they do show something, I'm sure it will blow all our minds. But yeah, guys, that's just my predictions. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think we'll see another Monolith Soft game at this year's E3? And if so, what game do you think that they will show, and how far to an extent do you think they'll show it? Thank you guys all for watching. Though if you like this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring that bell icon for notifications of all my videos. You're not going to want to miss all the E3 content coming out from this channel. Also, if you would, please share this video with everyone you know who is a big Monolith Soft fan. I'll see all you guys later on What About Nintendo. Bye!